just looking for a town called Stall.
You wouldn't be the new pastor, would you?
Well, actually, yes. How'd you know that?
Pastor Kingman asked me to keep an eye out for you.
Is that it? Oh!
Kidding me. Did the movers just leave everything on the ground?
No. They were nice fellas. We just figured you didn't want any strangers traipsing through your house.
This is so nice. You did the right thing, you know.
Well, Slash, I mean, you know, getting into this producing endeavor, how difficult was it to kind of wade through the talent pool of Hollywood to find a director for your first feature?
I can't say that it was necessarily difficult. I mean, I was so eager to get going once I got into this that even the most menial of tasks actually was exciting. So we had a lot of meetings with directors all in one day, really. And Anthony was part of that sort of cattle call.
Yeah.
And he just showed up at the table with a unique perspective on the story. He had really flushed out from end to end what the story was about, and he'd taken some of the edge off of some of the violent stuff that was originally in the script, stuff that wasn't really necessary and didn't make sense.
Yeah.
And so we just had an automatic synergy that happened. And there you go. So yeah, it was a long day, but it was worth it.
Yeah, well, I mean, from my understanding, you're not that big of a gore and slasher kind of horror fan. You're more old school supernatural, right?
Well, I mean, the thing is that I've said that many times, but I mean, I don't mind violence and blood and all that kind of stuff when it's appropriate and when it's tasteful and not gratuitous. When it's just gratuitous, then you want to have a movie that's just nothing but that, and that's the ride.
Yeah.
You know, which isn't the movie I want to make. Not saying that I'm not a fan of some of those really well done cheesy gore movies, but I really the thing that inspired me to get into producing was to really get into the story and the plot and the characters and develop all that, and then you know what makes the movie scary comes around. It starts to develop on its own, or you know, whatever it is, you go through a development process before, not just like here's the credits and you're scared, you know, and it's just linear at that point.
What about for you, Anthony? I mean, where do you come from in terms of your, the things you like in the genre?
I mean, the genre I have more of an affinity to the genre in the 70s of horror film. You know, stuff that you didn't expect what was coming because there wasn't a generic horror structure yet.
Right.
You know, and you know, stuff like Rosemary's Baby that he always likes, or like The Changeling for me, or even Texas Chainsaw, like stuff like that where it starts off relatively normal and then slowly the horror elements start to seep in, you know, almost like a metaphor for what's happening in the film. And so that stuff always affected me, and, you know, short stories like The Lottery, what affected me, you know, that was my reference for this movie, like something that starts off very normal, you build the characters, you find out who they are, and then out of left field comes this whole element. And so when I read the script, I mean, that's kind of how I reacted to it. Not because that's what I wanted to make, but that's when I read the script, that's the movie I saw. And it just fit the story better than just making it gratuitous or trying to force it into a genre. It wasn't quite, all the pieces are there.
Right. Slash, what kind of producer are you? I can't imagine you're like the paperwork guy.
No, I'm the creative.
Only paperwork.
I'm definitely into the creative. That's what turns me on. The business aspect of it, you know, pretty much the same as in music, just doesn't interest me. It's a necessary evil, but it's not what it's not inspiring.
You got to find the guys to do the paperwork.
Yeah, well, my partner's really good with that. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, did you head down to set every once in a while just to check in, or?
Well, I did. I was basically pretty hands-on from the movie's inception, but we had a certain thing happen where I had a window before my tour was going to start, where the movie was supposed to be shot, and it just, for logistic reasons, it just got backed up until the two were overlapping. So unfortunately, I couldn't be at the set the whole time, which was really a drag. But I did manage to get down there for one day and night, which was a lot of fun. So.
That's cool. Well, what particular scene were you down there for?
I was down there for the whole carnival.
Oh, nice.
Thing.
Okay.
The day before, or the morning of, and then that night and all that stuff. But they did send me dailies out on the road, which, you know, so we definitely stayed connected no matter where I was, no matter where Anthony was, or Nick was, my composing partner. So
Anthony, talk about working with Anne Heche and Clancy Brown, who's amazing.
It was great. You know, it was great because we found our actors really quick, you know, like Clancy and Anne, and they read the script and knew what the script was. You know, it wasn't. They really embodied those characters. I mean, especially Clancy, who, you know, the scary thing about Clancy, before I knew Clancy, is I'm going, he's just going to be this big, scary character. And then I met with him, and he had this, like, guilt for his character, and this, like, you know, he was horrified that his character did what he did to Christopher. And, you know, and that's when I knew he was right for it. So, you know, because he can be very forceful, but he can also be so soft.
Yeah.
And, you know, having a character who wants to save them rather than try and do something bad to them, I think really made it dynamic.
Nice. What particular challenges did you face, you know, in shooting this?
Well, all of them, but
Yeah, of
the
course.
biggest one
Through every stage.
through every stage, but the biggest one was how fast we had to shoot it.
Yeah.
We shot it in 20 days, which is, that's great for a film in one location, but we had locations, we had effects, we had prosthetic makeup, we had all these things that we shouldn't be doing in that time. So it left zero room for anything other than to shoot exactly what you're going to make.
Yeah. Right.
So it was really a challenge to get the actors on page fast enough and get the shots you need and move on. And you know, the lucky thing is I don't think that really comes across in the film that we shot in 20 days, which I'm happy about. But that was a challenge.
The stress level, the day that I was there for the shoot, you know, I was like, hey, Anthony, what's happening?
Talk about, there's one particular, I don't want to give it away, but there's one
That's
particular
hard,
aspect of this film that I went, okay, this is a film that takes risks. In the sense that there's a certain death of a certain small person.
Yeah.
And I was like, right on, okay, cool. Was that something that was discussed ahead of time, whether you should make that decision or not?
It's funny because in the script there were some deaths in the original script that I thought were really unnecessary. They didn't tell the story, but that was one that it has to happen or the story doesn't make sense, right? So it's terrible. And you know, when I met with Clancy, that was his thing. He's like, I can't believe we're doing this.
Because she's got one job and one job only.
Yeah,
and if he, you know, if he got away,
then it would change the whole meaning.
Yeah.
And the way we did it too is we never wanted to be, you know, explicit or exploit the fact of what we were doing. I think that's where, you know, it's all an emotional like train that keeps it going. I think if we cheated, it would have felt like a cheat if we didn't do that.
Yeah.
And you know,
and
I
it
think,
wouldn't have changed the rating anyway.
No, our rating got changed because of all the swearing. In the
Oh,
movie.
really? Yeah.
Because teenagers swear. They don't.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to swear in movies, just real life.
It's also the inflection of the word fuck, too, I understand.
Yeah.
Like, you can just say, you know,
I
fuck you, but not I'm going to fuck you or something.
In highly stressful situations, you're going to say it with a certain amount of zeal.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. I guess that's like at the top of the list.
We have a girl chained in that gateway thing. She's not allowed to say fuck. That's terrible.
Dad, what's going on? Go! Get in the car! What are those? They're on every house.
This place is evil.
Have faith. This is your servant, Lord. This is his will.